part 1 of my TBR list for 2023. So I have a pile of books next to me, and I did want to make this video longer, but my phone just doesn't have the capacity for that. So today's video is part 1. This is going up on the Tuesday, and then on the Thursday I will upload part 2 with even more books. So I have set myself the goal of reading 50 books this year, which is a lot, considering last year my goal was 22 and I read a whopping grand total of 9. So I think 50 is a bit of a stretch, but I'm aiming for it. I'm going to go for it. Saying that though, I ideally wanted to read one book a week, and it has taken me 3 weeks to get 100 pages into a book. So I'm not feeling very optimistic, babes, but we shall see, we shall see. Let's get into the video. So, starting off with the book that I'm currently reading, it is The Mismatch by Sarah Jafari. This is the book that's taken me 3 weeks to get into. But I really do like this book. Just because it's taken me forever doesn't mean I don't like the book. I really do. So, this book follows a woman called Soraya who is graduating university, and she befriends a bad boy called Magnus. First of all, what a name, Magnus. But yeah, she befriends him, and Soraya has a secret. She has never kissed anyone in her life. Now, she is a Muslim, but she's a bit of a rebellious Muslim, as in, like, she's done drugs, she drinks, she parties, but she's not kissed a boy. That's something that I think frightens her. But she has her eyes set on having her first kiss with Magnus. So I am about 100 pages in so far, and I like the relationship that is building between them. It's a really good story, and something I love about this is it has flashback chapters to Soraya's mum, Nida. Now, Nida grew up in Iran, and it talks about her, like the same age as Soraya, choosing to wear the hijab. So I think it's a really beautiful book so far. I love the two different points of views. So I'm really enjoying it, and I really want to finish this book either tomorrow or Thursday so I can get on to the next book. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the next book, but whilst I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit. I am on a book buying ban because I have so many books that I need to read, and I just haven't yet. However, listen, I am a Star Wars girly. As you can tell from my little alarm clock, it's going to do it. It lights up, it's so cool. And then I also have my Princess Leia figurine next to me, because I love her. So I am a Star Wars girly, right? And I recently discovered that there are Star Wars books. Oh my goodness, I have it in my basket. I want to get the Revenge of the Sith one. It's in my basket, and even though I'm on a book buying ban, I feel like I should just treat myself like one book a month. And I think that I'm gonna treat myself to this book because, oh my goodness, I've heard some things about it. Apparently everyone cries. I love Revenge of the Sith. It's my favourite Star Wars movie. I am in love with Anakin Skywalker, so I think I'm gonna get it. Anyway, little tangent over onto the next book, and this book is my next read after The Mismatch. This is You Exist Too Much by Zania Arafat. So this book takes you on a dizzying tour of love addiction, rehab, homophobia, betrayal, obsession, and the aching needs for a mother's unconditional love. So that is something that I can relate to. I'm not going to get into it, but it is something that I can relate to. So I am super excited to read this book. It is a lesbian relationship, and obviously I've just told you what it entails, so I am very excited to read it. It's also a fairly short book, so I'm hoping that once I finish The Mismatch, I can finish this in a day and get my numbers up, and then get on to the next book. So the next this is the first one of the series, and I actually started this up in Scotland, and I'm yet to finish it. I think I'm like halfway through from what I remember. So this follows a woman called Piper Bellinger, and she is a little troublemaker. She lives in LA, I believe it is, and I think she like crashes a hotel or like a pool or something. It's been a few months since I've read this book. She basically, she throws an out of control rooftop party. She gets arrested. Her stepfather bails her out and sends Piper and her sister, is it Hannah? I think it's Hannah, to it says on it, Westport, which is where Piper's late father originally was from. There is a motorbike going by. That's really inconvenient. Okay, it's gone now anyway. So that's what the story starts off as, and she gets to Westport. She takes over. She inherits her father's pub, I believe it is, and she then befriends a hunk of a man, Brendan Taggart, and there's a romance between that. Now, I won't say too much about this story because I don't want to give any spoilers, but so far I'm really loving the relationship between these two. Oh my goodness, when I was reading this book in Scotland, I loved it. Like, I would read it on the train to and from work, but I moved back down to Wales, and obviously I stopped reading it because I was moving house and everything, and I just never picked it back up. But I really want to read this book again because I love the story and it's great writing. I love it. 10 out of 10, even though I'm like halfway through. So once I'm finished with that book, I'm going to go on to the second book, Hook, Line and Sinker, and this follows Piper's little sister, older sister, her sister, Hannah. Hannah has a love interest, Mr. Fox Thornton. He has a reputation as a sexy, carefree flirt. Everyone knows he's a guaranteed good time in bed and out, and that's exactly how he prefers it, so he's not really much of a relationship man. He's a bit of a player. Anyway, but that all changes when he meets Hannah Bellinger. Now, she's immune to his charm and his good looks, and in fact, she actually needs his help. She is nursing a hopeless crush on a colleague, and Fox is just the person to help with her lackluster love life. However, the more time she spends with Fox, the more she wants him instead. Wow, what a scandal. But she refuses to be another notch in his bedpost. Honestly, girl, I don't blame you. Living with his best friend should have been easy, except now she's walking around in a towel and sleeping right across the hall, and Fox is fantasizing about waking up next to her for the rest of his life. He's fallen for her hook, line and sinker. Helping her flirt with another guy is pure torture, but maybe if Fox can tackle his inner demons and show Hannah he's all in, she'll choose him instead. What a book, what a book, what a book. Cannot wait to read. If you can tell, I am a sucker for romance books. Like, romance owns my heart. Maybe it's because I wasn't loved enough as a child. I don't know, but I love romance books. In fact, I think most of the books I have in my collection are romance books. Which brings me on to the next one. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. The Love Hypothesis. My favourite book of all time. I'm not even being funny. Like, I read that book last year and I fell in love. I love that book so much, and I know it's based off of Rey and Kylo Ren from Star Wars, but ignoring that, it's a really, really good book. Anyway, this is one of the books I want to read this year. It follows a woman called B. I can't say her last name, if I'm honest with you. If I tried, it would be embarrassing, but that's her name there. So, if NASA offered her the lead on a neuroengineering project, a literal dream come true, Marie would accept without hesitation. Duh. But the mother of modern physics never had to co-lead with Levi Ward. Sure, Levi is attractive in a tall, dark and piercing eyes kind of way, but Levi made his feelings towards B very clear in grad school. Arch nemesis work best employed in their own galaxies far, far away. But when her equipment starts to go missing and the staff ignore her, B could swear she sees Levi, softening into an ally, backing her plays, seconding her ideas, devouring her with those eyes. The possibilities have all her neurons firing. But when it comes time to actually make a move and put her heart on the line, there's only So moving on to the next one. Now, much like the love hypothesis, I fell in love with the Spanish Love Deception. So of course I had to pick up The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Almaz. She is the author of the Spanish Love Deception. The Love Hypothesis and the Spanish Love Deception are my two favourite books as of right now, and they have been since I read them last year. So this is a story following Miss Rosie Graham, and Miss Rosie Graham has a problem, a few actually. First, she quit her well-paid job to focus on her secret career as a romance writer, only to enter a creative slump. Then, the ceiling of her New York apartment falls in. To make matters worse, when she heads to her best friend's apartment, she finds that Linda has already lent the studio to her cousin Lucas, who Rosie has been, for lack of a better word, stalking on Instagram. When Lucas suggests that they share the small space, Rosie discovers that he just strolls around the place in a towel, has a distracting grin, an irresistible accent, and cooks meals that are just as tempting. But then he learns about Rosie's writer's block and proposes an outrageous idea. He'll take her on a series of experimental dates to reignite her literary muse. This shouldn't be a problem because Lucas's stay in New York also has a deadline, but she might find it hard to right now. The research is much more fun. So yeah, this is another book I cannot wait to read. I got this book pretty much as soon as it came out because I wanted to read it that badly, and then I just never started it. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books left. Let's go with this one. This one has been all over my TikTok, and it is Beach Read by Emily Henry. There's some sticker residue. Let's try to make a trigger out of that. So, two writers, one holiday, a rom-com waiting to happen. January is a hopeless romantic who narrates her life like she's the lead in a blockbuster movie. Gus is a serious literary type who thinks true love is a fairy tale. But January and Gus have more in common than you think. They're both broke, they have crippling writer's block, and they need to write bestsellers before the summer ends. The result, a pair to swap genres and see who gets published first. The risk, in telling each other stories, their worlds might be changed entirely. So, I cannot wait to read this book either. I've never read anything of Emily Henry's, but all the things I've seen about that are like such good praise, like praising all of her books, especially this one, and Book Lovers, which is another one I want to get. So, again, I'm very excited to read this, and I actually got this in a charity shop for £2.49. Are you joking? What a steal. Also, look how floppy it is, like, it's a floppy book. Okay, on to the next one, which again, it has been seen on TikTok as the non-removable sticker likes to point out. It is A Brush by Love by Maisie Eddings. So, I will read the blurb of this one. Anxiously awaiting news from the residency program of her dreams, dental student Harper Horowitz is laser-focused, so crashing, quite literally, into Dan Craig is exactly the sort of dreamy distraction that she's trying to avoid. First-year student Dan may not have the same passion for pulling teeth that Harper does, but he's instantly smitten. When Harper makes it clear that she's not interested in trading feelings anytime soon, they set out to be just friends. A plan with the best of intentions and the poorest of follow-throughs. Late nights in the dental lab and the rather unsubtle matchmaking efforts of their friends draw Dan and Harper closer. Still, Harper can't shake the worry that her romance with Dan might risk everything she's worked so hard to build. Harper may have no trouble acing her studies, but falling in love is a whole new challenge. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I actually started reading this book. I think I got 2 chapters in, like, I got past That's the bit where they bump into each other, and then I put it down on my dining room table and never picked it up again. So I really want to get back into this book because I saw it on TikTok, and again with this book I got it as soon as it was released. Also, can we just appreciate the cover, like the way this is written, like it looks like toothpaste. I think that's so creative. Gold star to the illustrator. Okay, on to the last 3 books. I saw this book in the works a few months ago, and it's not something I would really go for, but I saw it and I thought, you know what, it's worth the read. It is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dere. I hope I'm saying that right. So, inside every girl is a louding voice, a voice to speak up for herself, for the girls who came before her, and all those who will follow. As a third wife in a small Nigerian village, a 14-year-old Aduni is expected to fade into silence. But Aduni will not keep quiet. She's smart, funny, and curious, with an infectiously joyful spirit, and despises adversity awaiting her every turn. She's set on getting an education, no matter the cost. Determined not to settle for her fate, Aduni embarks on the journey from her village to the wealthy enclaves of Lagos, a journey that will change her life, and if you listen closely, possibly yours. So yeah, this is not the book I would typically read, but I thought that it sounded really interesting, so I'm gonna give it a go. Even though I love romance novels, I do kind of want to branch out a bit and read things that aren't typically romance, so like sci-fi, fantasy, anything that like tackles different issues, but like in fiction, if you know what I mean. So like for example, this book, you know, Aduni is set on getting an education, so it's not really like something I would typically read, but like I said, it sounds really interesting, and it actually got a award between the covers from BBC 2 in 2021, so super interesting, and I cannot wait to read that one. Next up is a classic, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I got this a few months ago and I was telling my friend about it, and she said she loved the book, so I'm very happy I got this one. I haven't started this. I've wanted to start it, but I've just never really like had the time, because it's definitely like, again, it's not something I would really read, so I want to sit down and read it all in one go, or like over the course of a day, because knowing me, I will probably read a few bits, put it down, and not pick it up again, because it's not something I typically go for. So I'm just waiting for the perfect time for me to like sink my teeth into this book. So the case is closed. 5 years ago, schoolgirl Andy Bell was murdered by Sal Singh. The police know he did it. Everyone in town knows he did it. But having grown up in the same small town that was consumed by the murder, Pippa Moby isn't so sure. When she chooses the case as the topic for her final year project, she starts to uncover secrets that someone in town desperately wants to stay hidden. And if the real killer is still out there, how far will they go to keep Pip from the truth? And it's part of a trilogy, so the next one is Good Girl, Bad Blood, and the last one is As Good as Dead. So this sounds super interesting. I do like a bit of a murder mystery, so I'm excited to see how this book turns out. I also love the cover of like the string and the pins. This reminds me of Mike's Mike. If you know, you know. I just can't wait to read this book. I feel like I'm saying that for every book, but I honestly can't. So season. It's exhausting, really, always following the rules. Mac has dreams of her own, but to please her parents, she moves to the beachside town of Avalon Bay to get her college degree. 20-year-old Mac has had plenty of practice suppressing her wilder impulses, but when she meets local bad boy Cooper Hartley, that ability is suddenly tested. Cooper is rough around the edges, raw and candid, a threat to her ordered existence. Their friendship soon becomes the realest thing in her life. Despite his disdain for the trust fund kids he sees coming and going from his town, Cooper soon realizes Mac isn't just another rich clone and falls for her hard. But as Mac finally starts to feel accepted by Cooper and his friends, the secret he's been keeping from her threatens the only place she's ever felt at home. So that sounds really interesting. I love books set in a seaside town, I honestly do. So very excited to read this book. I think after You Exist Too Much, I will read this one, because I just cannot wait to read it. I wanted to read it for months. Okay, that is it, my lovelies. That is part 1 done of my TBR list video. Part 2 will be up in 2 days on Thursday, where I have even more books to show you. So I want to say thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, please remember that you are loved, you are wanted, and you are so appreciated. I am wishing you Godspeed, and I will see you hopefully in the next ASMR video.